So I think over the let's say 3 to 5 years, I've been with the health business, intimately here for about the last 3. And when I was coming on board, and just before that, the goal was to how can we get a mobile type of service that can go with people who are active, who aren't necessarily homebound. Now, how can we provide a level of care for those folks? And there was a rush to kind of get a cellular product that was mobile in nature, that could send GPS location if you push the button to get a response, and that was a big push. And then maybe say 3 years ago, there was a big move towards a wearable device. Typically, a lot of focus placed on watches, and what can I do with a watch that can serve as a medical alert pendant, maybe give me some fitness and activity information or send reminders and things like that. And that's certainly made a number of strides. I think one of the challenges that we've had on that front, I think across the industry, has just been getting the interface correct. What's an interface that seniors that may be having difficulty with vision or dexterity or things like that can interact with? And watches can be challenging sometimes, because you don't want a giant watch that is very heavy and uncomfortable to wear, but you want a watch that's got enough features and functionality built into it. And sometimes cramming all that technology into a small form factor is a challenge. But most recently, I think where we've gotten is really looking at the smart home. And I can do some mobile things with phones as adoption rates continue to grow for mobile phones and smartphones amongst typically the senior population. But what can I do to combine those types of mobile devices with the smart home devices? And just like a simple thing to think about is, from a security perspective, you may have motion detectors in your house or door and window sensors in your house, and they had been traditionally used to keep people out, right? If the door opens, the alarm goes off. But now, with the growth in technology, we can use those for multiple things. We can use those to signal when the system's armed that somebody may be trying to intrude, but you can also use motion detectors to collect data and say, hey, what are your activity levels? Or I'm a perfect example I'll use is my parents are aging, and I can look on my phone and see when they wake up. And not so much that I'm constantly checking, they're pretty independent, that I'm checking to see if they're awake, although you can certainly do that, and you can set notifications that at a certain time, if there hasn't been motion in, say, the living room, you get a notification. Or if at a certain time, if there is motion, you get a notification. You can customize those things. So I look to see if they're awake before I call them, so I'm not waking them up if they just want to sleep in. And that's great. But you can take that another level and say, what can I do to either set alerts or reminders if something happens. If someone tends to wander and the door opens at a time where you don't think the door should be opening, you could get a notification and check in and see what's happening. And a check-in may be just taking a peek at the camera and seeing what's going on inside the house, or interacting through the camera, because our cameras have speakers and microphones built into them. So there's a whole lot of customization that can happen. And the challenge has always been, and I think the thing that we're doing a good job with now, is making it simple to set those things up and to create those recipes, if you will, or those notifications, so that you don't have to be a computer programmer to get the thing working the way that you want it to. And I think that is really the key to adoption and the key to people using it and feeling comfortable with it. We've all seen, I'm not going to program this VCR, I'm going to throw it out the door. Right. So, if you can make it very easy by the click of a few buttons in an app, or just a very easy setup process to set those up, that goes a long way towards adoption and use and the effectiveness of what you can do. But the number of things that you can do with the new smart home devices, and repurposing and reimagining them, even something as simple as waking up in the middle of the night, say between 11 o'clock and 5 a.m., a motion detector might pick up your motion and turn the lights on, but they don't turn them on 100%. They turn them on 15%. So it's like a night light, and then you don't trip on something walking to the bathroom. You get back into bed, the motion detector doesn't detect any motion, and the lights go off automatically. So there's a lot that you can do with the smart home now, and it's becoming more and more, I guess, easy to program, or you can provide canned type of setups. It makes it really easy for people to utilize.